Hey, what's up, YouTube? What's up, Facebook? We're going to give y'all a second to come on in here. Hope y'all are having a good Thursday. We're running a little bit behind today, but I think that's probably because we did it intentionally for the simple fact we had some children stuff to tend to. So, again, welcome.
You think?
Yeah, it might have been accidental. I don't know. But in any event, welcome, y'all. Welcome. We can give y'all a second to tune in. Thank y'all again for tuning in to another Relationship Thursday. We got a good topic for y'all tonight. So what's up, 529? You're like one of the first people that always be on. We appreciate that. We really do. We can give YouTube a chance to tune in as well. Hey, let us know where y'all are tuning in from. Just drop us a line, letting us know where y'all are tuning in from. Again, we're excited about this topic tonight, y'all. Today is part three. Part three in our Sex and Intimacy series.
3 of 3.
We're going to be touching on this topic because it's really a good way to start off 2019. Focusing on sex and intimacy.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so for those of you who have, rode with us, sitting with us,
whatever
you rided it with us. For those who have been with us over the last 3 weeks, we've been focusing on sex and intimacy. And it's been good. It's been very, very good. And so I'm glad you all are coming back tonight as we round out just the importance of getting your relationship in proper position in 2019. We're going to be talking a lot for the rest of this month about how to position your relationship properly and how to do a reset if you need to, like we talked about the other night with our folks from the Happy Couples Company, Marcel and Yvette. But y'all, sex is so important. You can't reset in all these different ways, and you can't do different things and try different stuff, and you're like leaving sex out of the mix. And so tonight, that's what we're going to focus in on again once more. I just want to shout out to Nisha representing Arkansas, and Karama, I don't know if I'm saying it right, sis, representing, oops, I went the wrong way here, representing Ashburn, Virginia, and Jaisha in Miami. Wow, how's it feel there? And Andrea in South Carolina, and Raven in Maryland, and Charlicia representing Hampton, and Sharice right around the way in the DMV, Arlington, Virginia. And Devon, hey, how are you? My sis Latisse is on. So I just want to say, y'all get ready because we want to make sure, again, that you're properly positioning. And so we're going to get right into it.
Before we get into it, we got to introduce ourselves. So go ahead and start that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, I am Iyanna Ma'at. I'm one half of the dynamic duo that is Ayize and Iyanna Ma'at. This is my wonderful, awesome husband, Ayize.
Yeah, thank you.
And we are licensed therapists. We practice together here in the DMV. We do this work because we feel called to it. We have 5 children, and we done seen all kind of stuff. Ain't nothing you really can bring to us. So we're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is a bit much. Like straight up, seriously, because we've worked with so many people and seen the same themes and the same trends. And one of those trends is sex and the lack thereof, or the disconnect in marriage. And I just want to encourage somebody tonight to let you know that it doesn't have to stay there. It ain't got to, park right there, but it certainly, how, there's something that's bothering you and in your life. Well, let me not just say something, but let me not even go down that road. I'm gonna take us somewhere we don't need to be quite yet. but absolutely what you need to understand is that you must focus on, with laser-like precision, you must focus on this area if you want it to get better, the same way you would do with anything. Lots of couples and individual singles who watch us talk about wanting to have better finances in 2019, wanting to do something different and create something different and to start shifting how you do your money. And a lot of y'all, and I see some hearts, so y'all are like with that, right? And so, for example, a lot of y'all have talked about Dave Ramsey. There's more than just Dave Ramsey. There's different folks out there who have systems in place. But for those of y'all who talking that and you ain't really doing nothing, I mean, you just be saying it, and you don't have any strategy, any tool, any focus, that's a recipe for disaster. So we want you to apply that understanding. Thank you to Nisha for creating a watch party. Appreciate that. I want you to understand that the same stands for sex. So that's exactly what we're going to focus in again on this evening. So first up, y'all, I want everybody to understand that sex is sacred. And I don't even understand. I don't know if most people even really know what that means, that it's sacred. Does anybody, y'all have a sense of what that word even means? I'm looking up sacred right now because I want to give the formal dictionary definition when we use the word sacred. So automatically, when I hear the word say, oh, look, Tanya, hey, Tanya says she likes your glass. I got him that, girl.
Thanks, sis. Yeah, my boo, she got me this glass.
Yes, best husband ever.
You shouted me out. I appreciate that, man.
I didn't even realize you had your glass. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So sacred means connected, when you look it up in the dictionary, connected with God or dedicated to a religious purpose. Religious rather than secular. I don't see the word spiritual, but when I think about something being sacred in my life, whether it's my relationship with my boo, whether it's what I feel called to do, whether it's sex, right? We're focusing on sex tonight. I understand that this is something that helps me to become everything that I need to be. There's opportunity in it, that it is that safe place. It is that spiritual place. It is that space, or one of the utmost respect and reverence to. Mm. When you say something is sacred, it's like reverence and respect. Right. Mm-hmm. And when we have that understanding in that proper position, then we pay attention differently to it. We make sure that we are showing up a certain way. And so I need everybody to kind of pull your hats back, and you need to pay attention in that way. If you don't already have that kind of respect and reverence for it to begin with, then that is where your work begins. Yes, absolutely. That's where your work begins, to really see it as a place to develop in yourself, to develop in terms of your own personal sexuality, how you feel about your own self and your ability to experience your sexuality, mm-hmm. To connect with another person, your partner, in that way intimately, and to look at that as a place for you to give life to, individually and collectively. A good sex life consists of one who knows how to have good sex with their partner, mm-hmm. but also knows how to have good sex with themselves. So you cannot give to someone else, and you cannot teach them to give to you, and y'all can't come together in just the perfect way so that you can climax on a mental, emotional, spiritual level if you don't even know how to get there yourself. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I'm telling you. And y'all need to understand. I mean, like, for real. Like, if you're like, I don't really do that. We talked about that last time or two. People getting jealous of your partner masturbating and that kind of thing. Understand that you have to put in the work. If you need to lose weight, you need to put in the work and get on that treadmill. If you need to focus in on your sex life and on your expression, you need to put in the work with your partner. And sometimes you have to first get comfortable with mm-hmm. yourself. And just exploring yourself. Yes, Andrea, she says self-love is the best love. And Carla said reverence is a good word. It's a good word to be honored during lovemaking and self-love. Yeah, we're going to touch on that too throughout the course of this evening. And so, one of the things that my wife just mentioned that I really want us to park on for a second, as it pertains to sex being sacred, is the fact that, that's where inception begins. And so if you really think about the fact that when it comes to the act of intimacy, the act of sex, and realize that we all come from a space or an energy of nothingness, no-thingness, where everything is completely still. And so in that stillness, that blackness, that infinite wisdom mm-hmm. is through the act of inception, through the act of connecting and physically, sexually, that life is created. None of us would be here without the act of sex. We just wouldn't be here. Mm-hmm. And so it's through the process of inception, and through that process of actually going into a space of quietude, of silence, of darkness, of stillness, of connecting in with the infinite source, which we all can connect to, that life is created. And so the act of sex, when you all are intermingling, connecting, loving up on each other, and sexually experiencing each other's energy, you go to a space. If you're doing it with the right mindset, you go to a space where you're tapping into infinite wisdom and infinite connection. And so in doing that, that's what gives you the opportunity and the ability to bring forth life, whether it be literally a physical life
or just the opportunity to create. And so again, it's that connection, that intimacy that creates that spark. So that's one of the reasons why sex is so sacred.
Mm-hmm. So here's how we get to intimate, sacred sex. It is a practice. You do have to be intentional about it. And if you think about intimacy as a continuum, I want you to think about yourself on one end of the continuum as your closed self, and on the other end of the spectrum as your open self. Mm-hmm. And if you think about this within the context of sex, your closed self is having sex, holding your breath with your eyes closed, peeking out maybe through an eye, right? And you are there, but you ain't really there. Perhaps you're thinking about something else. You're thinking about, do I let my stomach out? Can he see my rolls? You know what I'm saying? What does my breath stink? You know what I'm saying? Like all that kind of stuff. Like for real. I mean, that's real talk, right? Mm-hmm. We have all these different competing thoughts. That's being closed and not really present. And that is not the pathway to intimacy. Mm-hmm. If you go on the other end of the spectrum and think about your open self, you are you're letting all of the tension release from your body. Let the fat rolls just come on out. You know what I'm saying? Let yourself be free. You have a certain level of comfort with yourself and feeling safe with your partner, right? To fully be. You're inhaling your partner, right? You're not holding your breath, and you are fully present in the moment of connecting in with them. You have to first start from that position. And so intimacy in sex is a practice, and we have to first be mindful. Mindfulness is a practice. Be mindful about where we are and get ourselves in the right position. Mm-hmm. Your open self is connected with yourself, with your partner, with your eyes open. You're looking into the eyes of your partner, right? And you're fully present in the experience, even if it's awkward. So this is what I want to say real quick. Sometimes when we talk about this with couples, and especially when we take them through exercises, people often give us feedback and be like, yeah, this is cool, but this, John, like, do people really do this? Mm-hmm. Especially, I'm like, well, people usually don't have people staring at them. So I'm not talking about sex, right? But I'm talking about intimacy exercises that you can use in sex. At times we have couples kind of go through that process and we watch them and give them feedback, right? And people are like, is anybody really doing it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, people do this. My husband and I do this, right? Mm-hmm. We fully connect in. We won't do that 100% of the time, but it is a regular, reliable part of our relationship. And it is going to feel sometimes out of sorts. So you're going to feel like this feels awkward and like not natural. I hear that a lot. It's not natural. But understand that sex, it doesn't necessarily always start out feeling natural. Mm-hmm. Well, when you think about persons losing their virginity, it's uncomfortable, right? When you're with someone for the first time, it may be pleasurable, but there are parts of it that may be uncomfortable. So just expect that. And don't expect to be in this place if you're really trying to be intimate and have this emotional intimacy and this physical intimacy in your sex, that you're just going to feel like, yeah, we're just flowing. It's like on TV and the world is, no, it may be very awkward. And that's the part of the process.
And in addition to that too, I mean, there's power in the reality that you, and I'm speaking to you, that you give me permission, mm-hmm. that you allow me inside of you. Mm-hmm. And so ladies, just the act in and of itself of allowing your man to enter into you. It's a sacred experience and a unique experience, because everybody else gets what's on the outside, but there's no way that you can be closer to somebody physically than to be inside of them. Mm. And so your woman is granting you permission to penetrate, to be inside, to be close, to be intimate, to explore the inner corridors and get to know her in a different way. And in that experience, there's an exchange, an energetic exchange, a vibrational exchange that takes place that she's granted you permission to experience. And so again, the act and the art of being inside is something that is a unique experience that should be experienced within the confines of your relationship. And so for her to grant you that, for you to take advantage of it and to be willing to be vulnerable and step in, it's a unique experience that you should not take for granted. It's a beautiful experience. Indeed
it is. Indeed it is. We're in the DC metro area for those who are just joining us. I see you, Hassan Hawkins. He's like, where are y'all? Mm-hmm. We're in the DC metro area. And if you're just joining us tonight, we're talking about sex, and we're looking at how sex is a sacred act, it's a sacred practice, and that there is a way to have intimate sex. If you find that you're having sex in this routine and it's not really hitting, right? Then this is the place you need to be tonight, so that we can really talk to you about how to get to intimacy, how to get there. Nita, I see you made it right on time, my sister. So here is the first thing. Now, this may sound cliche, but I need, especially my sisters, to really take this in. I kind of hit on this a little bit earlier this evening with Easy on his podcast, and it's the same thing. This theme of women not feeling as though you have permission to want sex, to enjoy sex, to have pleasure, to have intimacy, to really connect in fully sexually with yourself and with your partner, and to just, embrace that. You know what I'm saying? And fully be in that. And we know that a lot of that has to do with kind of cultural attitudes and that kind of thing in terms of the greater society at large, religious kinds of expectations and that kind of thing. So I want us to understand that we have to, number one, particularly as women, embrace and accept that you are a sexual being and that you deserve good sex. You deserve it. Like, to even say that, like, where would you go say that? Because it's like, okay, who does that? Right? That's how dudes talk.
Y'all do deserve it.
But you do.
I mean, we co-sign that all day long.
I don't know where you're going.
We firmly believe that y'all deserve good sex. We really do.
So I think that it's really important. Pleasure and connection are important in our lives, and sex, has been shown and proven to be, has to help you with your cardiovascular health. It helps you with weight loss. It helps with stress relief, right? All kinds of things, and it helps you feel good. And we just need to get freer in our willingness and our ability to be real about what we want and I like it because it feels good, and I deserve good sex, right? And so I deserve to be able to look for what I need to work on it, and to do that in a way that if and when there are feelings that come up that are around shame or guilt, or you're not being appropriate or a good girl or whatever things you got that you're holding on to, then the thing you need to say to yourself first and foremost is, I forgive myself for judging and for coming from a place of shame. I forgive myself. I'm gonna keep on moving, because this is a wonderful and beautiful thing. So we got to embrace that we're sexual beings, because you can't work on anything that you won't acknowledge. So if you're doing this, but you have this foundation of like, it's really like not okay, or it's a secret, nobody knows that I would actually look at a live stream talking about sex or whatever. Like, if you have that kind of, and we are where we are. But you need to recognize that if that's where you are, that's something you need to intentionally and purposefully work on, because you cannot change anything that you will not acknowledge. Because you can't. You know what I'm saying? If you don't understand what kind of framework you're bringing to the bedroom to begin with. And
so, yes, we all are sexual beings. And I think that, a second ago I made a statement like, we want you to explore your sexuality and that type of thing. But that could also be coming from a position of toxic masculinity, the way I co-sign that.
Oh, let me find out.
But what I will say is that sometimes we as men, we contribute to the reservation, the hesitation that you might experience, or that you may feel when it comes to expressing yourself sexually. Like, we've encountered and we've worked with a number of guys that have said that they don't want their wife to do X, Y, and Z. They don't want their woman to be free sexually. They don't want their woman to be as vulnerable and to be as nasty or freaky or whatever it may be, because the judgment is that if you're doing it with me, you probably did it with somebody else, and I don't want you doing it with somebody else, but you did it with me. And so I'm trying to keep what's between us routine, quote unquote sacred, and I don't want that quote unquote filth in our bedroom coming from you. And so again, if you find yourself in a position where your man is holding you hostage sexually, it's important that you have a conversation with him to express what your desires are. You deserve to experience the heights and the fullness of your sexuality. And so if he's holding you back, then please have that conversation and let him know that, again, it's only going to enhance the quality of you all's relationship if you can fully express who you are as a sexual person.
And vice versa, men can also, unknowingly or maybe knowingly hold women up in terms of, kind of bringing the mindset, and women bring the same mind. It ain't just men. Women too bring the same mindset. Like, you know, we're not really into sex, and it's not really our thing. Men just, and so just help me out, baby. Get me off. Like, you know, go ahead and do this for me. But I need you to understand that sex is not a servicing activity. It's not an activity that you do to service someone else. It is not solely about pleasuring another person. It is about coming together and mutually, you know, being able to go to a place of pleasure together. All right. So that was number one, making sure that you accept and that you embrace that you are a sexual being and that you really challenge yourself on that, because nothing will grow from shame and from, oh, it's not okay. Nothing will grow from there. So you got to get in a proper position. That's the first thing. Next one. The next one is please stop skipping the foreplay. Can y'all stop with skipping the foreplay? And I know y'all, some of y'all follow us faithfully, and we get on, we talk to y'all, we see you and stuff in the community, and y'all know that we get on this foreplay thing all the time, but y'all still be skipping that joint. I don't understand. Why y'all do that? Oh. Let me just say, I get on my husband. I'm like, boo, can you not be so direct? Can you get a little, you know what I'm saying? Can you get a little swagger in you? Like, you ready? I'm like, what?
You're getting a rack of hearts with that right there.
I mean, because y'all know, like, foreplay is important. And we said this before. We'll say this again. You know, for men not as a rule, but generally speaking, men are physical beings, right? And so you all are very much visually stimulated. You are already in a place where you're ready to get it going. And so when you get it going and when you start to all of that, right, then that opens up something in the brain and in the heart that starts to get that intimate connection and that emotional connection going for you. But oftentimes for women, it's not a rule, but generally speaking, women intuitively, emotionally need to be stimulated mentally, right? And when we get that mental, emotional foreplay, right, and we take your time and all that, you look at me like you're taking notes in your head. Take notes, boo. Take them and sip your tea. Yes. So when that happens,
man,
right, then I know you know what to do, but you be okay. So when women get that kind of approach, then we are, you know, become more engaged in the actual sex and like, oh yes, this is good. I wasn't even there 10 minutes ago, but now I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm there. But the foreplay is important, and I don't understand. I mean, oftentimes when we're prescribing for couples what they need to do, particularly when there's issues in the bedroom, we ain't even talking about intercourse. Everything that we give in terms of assignments, it starts, stops, and ends before you get to intercourse or penetration, right? It absolutely starts, stops, and ends right in the bedroom exploring. Take your clothes off, walk around, get the lotion, you know, rub it up, do this, do that, right? It's all about the foreplay and taking time with each other's bodies and taking time with your own body. I love it. Somebody said foreplay can bring out the animal in women. I'm telling you, for real, you really want a woman to go there with you, my brothers, do a little foreplay. So stop skipping that and take time for that. And if that's not happening in your relationship because y'all just trying to get through it and do it,
some good foreplay suggestions?
Then you know,
what are some good foreplay suggestions?
Why are you asking me? I mean, you can.
I want the women to please give the guys some good foreplay suggestions. So, I know what works in my relationship.
Oh, you saying you know?
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I know how to make that thing automatic. I do know. And so I'm curious to know, like, so ladies, what are some good ideas that you have for foreplay? What are some things that a man can do, your man specifically can do, or what men can do that actually stimulate you to want to experience, you know, increased intimacy?
I like that one.
Nibbling.
Neck nibbling. That's a good one. Yeah.
So I know massages work as well.
Oh, massages are wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah. I know, you know, maybe kissing the small of the back or touching it and you know, kissing the back of the neck. Music is a good start. Yes.
Let me tell you something. We be sleeping. Remember when y'all was dating? You used to turn on music. Now don't turn on no music. Like, just, I don't care if you get your phone out Phone ain't even got the bass like a real, you know what I'm saying, system or anything. Get your phone out something. That music is good.
Breast play.
Oh yes, stimulating the nipples, right? Because that actually releases hormones and can help women to feel a little more turned on. That's for sure.
On YouTube, they talking touching all over the body, soft kisses all over.
Yeah, slow dancing and kissing, Devon says. Yes.
Kissing the flower, oral sex.
Oh yeah. Oh, kissing the flower.
Yes.
Oil me down after the shower. Tanika said blindfolding. So all of these things, I just want to know though. Y'all are giving some really, really good ones, and I hope we're all taking notes from one another, right? But are you doing it? That's really what you need to ask yourself. Are you doing that? All right, keep it real. She said, I like my booty rubbed. Yes. And you need to tell your partner what you really like. Yeah. Because oftentimes what we do to and for our partner is what we like. We're not necessarily thinking about what they like. And we have to just be reminded. Whispering in my ear. That's a good one. So make sure that you prioritize foreplay. You schedule it in. You can get together and have foreplay and don't even get to the main event until later on. Now I know
just
my husband is like,
make sure you get to the main event. I mean, don't forget that.
Earlier tonight when I was doing that other show, I was like, my husband would say, make sure you follow up.
Yeah, you gotta follow through.
Make sure you follow up.
Don't shoot a half-hearted jump shot. Please follow that thing all the way through.
But it's good because it allows for you to kind of stretch it out over time.
Don't stretch that thing out for days or weeks, though.
Okay, I know that.
You know what I'm saying?
You say you got PTSD out this joint.
Yeah, I mean, just follow through and finish it. I mean, we like foreplay too, but we want foreplay with the follow up.
Yes. But here's the thing. So I agree. But here's the thing. And maybe y'all just ain't with me. Y'all ain't feeling me. Let me just. If you really go for it and you make foreplay and you make sexual exploration more than just about like getting to the point, right? Like sex is about more than just can we get to the point, penetration. It's more than that. Then the whole getting to it, right? Penetration, right? And climax, and obviously that's focused on you because women don't need penetration to have an orgasm. Right. So so if we really focus on really fully immersing ourselves in different techniques and different things that we can do, you really can be in full foreplay, right? And it doesn't have to be before anything. You can be in foreplay and you can climax in your foreplay. You can have mutual masturbation. You can have all kinds of things happening in foreplay where you are much more connected and feeling pleasured and everything. You don't have to go to intercourse. Of course, everybody want intercourse. I know that, but I'm just saying this again is this whole misnomer that penetration is the gold at the end of the pot at the end of the rainbow. And I think we need to just kind of re-examine that and understand it has its place and it's beautiful and it's awesome. But it's really so much you're missing if you skip down that rainbow too fast. You can slid past all kinds of opportunities. And sometimes some of those opportunities are so powerful that you like, we can get to that part a little later because I'm already, and not just a woman and not just a man, but both of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And I want to touch on this comment right here by Andrea Robertson. She says, "Be aggressive, grab me and kiss me hard." I'm glad you put that out there because, again, I mean, just in you making that statement right there, I think would be liberating for some women who are on this live stream, because to even express that desiring an element or some form of aggression when you are engaged in sex is something that some people consider to be taboo. And so to say that, I think is freeing for some women. And you're not suggesting that he, beat that ass or anything. But what you're saying is that, just be aggressive and grab me and kiss me hard. And so some people appreciate that and like that. And I appreciate you making that comment.
I don't know why our screen is blurry over here on Facebook. I want to address Crystal's question. Honey, Crystal says, but what if you tell your partner what you like, but they say they're not into it anymore, which can happen or which happens in marriage when you've been together for a while. So that is just I'm not into that no more. Y'all, do y'all say that too? I'm not really feeling that. Clearly, I didn't tell you because I wanted you to be into it. I'm telling you what I need, what I like.
Yeah, somebody said earlier over here on Facebook that communication is so critical because even in how you write that statement, I think that for the person to say I'm not into that anymore, it's really not being sensitive to what your sexual desires are. And so I think that a conversation that fleshes that out just a little bit more would be definitely appropriate, because I think that you need to say why you like it, why you like it, why you want it, why you need it, and hear him in terms of why he's not really into it anymore. And you mentioned too that the act of sex, we can miss some things simply because we're focused on climaxing, and I agree. But
no, not climaxing. Focus on penetration.
Focus on penetration.
Because you can climax both men and women without being penetrated. And women, the vast majority of women do not orgasm because of penetration.
Yeah.
Women orgasm because of clitoral stimulation. And so we need to get the focus off the penis all the time and kind of bring the clitoris up in equal, kind of consideration. Right, and understand that you don't have to, I love penetration, right? But that's not, there's more to sex than just that. And we kind of often look at that as we've arrived, right? And again, most women don't even need that to have a great orgasm. Yeah. Okay. So I just think we need to.
If you haven't already shared this video, please go ahead and do so. We got several tips that we're talking about tonight to help you increase the intimacy in your relationship. And increase and improve your sex life. Again, my name is Ayuza. This is my lovely wife, Iana. We're both licensed therapists. And so one thing, the reason why I made that statement, baby, about the act of sex in and of itself, not being exclusively focused on penetration and even orgasm, I think that it's a lot deeper, because the experience in and of itself, it suggests, it enables the experience of sex. There's deeper levels and deeper meanings that are being conveyed when you engage your partner sexually. And so I did a video some time ago, and I was talking about, we both did a video. And so I spoke in this video about why men, 3 reasons why men love a blowjob. And so the 3 reasons that I said was, they were all ours. One was respect. I said that through the act of giving a blowjob for a man, providing oral sex for a man, it indicates that there's a certain level of respect for him. When you're assuming in many instances a submissive position if you kneel down in front of him and you're providing oral sex. And so when you do that, again, that position of deference, it connotates respect, like you're allowing him to be in a position of a superiority, standing over top of you, and he appreciates that.
Well,
whether it be right, wrong, or whatever, it's his interpretation and his perception of that experience, and so he appreciates you assuming a submissive posture.
Okay.
So respect, reverence, it's the same thing. I say respect, reverence, and recognition. For you to take your time, for you to take your time when you're giving oral sex. And you're not just getting to it in terms of, sucking and doing all of that and swallowing or whatever it is that you do, but you're taking your time and paying attention to his phallus, his penis, and that right there, it's like you recognize him, you see him, and he appreciates that. And so again, it's not just about him ejaculating, but again, your posture, your position that you're assuming, the fact that you're taking time is giving him a sense of respect. He's feeling respected, he's feeling reverence, and he's also feeling recognized in that experience. And so again, it's not just about the blowjob in and of itself. It's way deeper than that.
I love my sister here, Angela. Angela says, I've been married 35 years to my husband. When is he going to get tired? I'm 60 years old and he's 72. And he don't get tired. I just want him once a week.
You're doing Angela. Way better than a lot of couples out here. You're doing way
much younger,
yes, right? Yes, once a week.
When is he gonna get tired? I know, right? Well. There you go, Brandon. I'm like, wow. So that's we need to have you on. We need to have y'all on. So we know we all need to be aspiring to. We have Denise here who said her husband won't let her give him oral sex. So that kind of gets to what you talked about earlier in terms of these kinds of images and messages that we've gotten early on, and it can get in the way. So that is one of those things that you have to balance out, respecting who your partner is and what their threshold and their boundaries are, but also challenging them a bit because they uniquely attracted you to come outside of that and perhaps consider, a different angle or a different vantage point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about sex. This was a 3-part series, and this is the 3 out of 3, the third show where we're really focusing in on resetting your relationship and really understanding, recognizing, and really protecting the position of sex in your relationship. Here's what's really important. What we, I think, have said already in some shape or form, but I want to make sure in case we missed it, right, is that we often talk about the fact that all relationships need the 3 C's. Mm-hmm. They are connection, it is commitment, it is courage. You need to have commitment for a solid relationship, right? Courage will be required in many, many areas of the relationship. Oftentimes, connection is the one area that can be supported and sustained by regular, good, solid sex when you all are disconnected, when you all are beefing, when y'all not feeling each other, when you're going through a rough patch. Sometimes rough patches last a little longer than any of us would like. But when we know how to still come together and have good sex, that connection stays. And we have said this time and time again. You can have all kind of tricks and tips and techniques, but if you don't have connection, you are in a danger zone, danger zone, danger zone. Yeah. So connection is one of the primary reasons that you should be aiming to have and to grow your sex life. Mm-hmm. There's so many people who are struggling in the sex area, and there's so many people who are struggling around how they agree on finances, and people struggling on how they communicate, and people struggling on how they deal with conflict management, and people struggling about their in-laws and struggling on differences of opinion with their kids. But I'm telling you, the ones who struggle on sex have a different kind of disconnect, because there is not often the opportunity to come together and physically and emotionally connect in, because we already irritated with one another. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? 23 hours out of 24 hours in a day. You know what I'm saying? I'm already mad at you. And this issue is like, it's an overarching, long-standing issue, right? It's thick. So where are we coming back together and learning how to just lean into one another? It's hard to happen, when you're not having sex. But when those other couples who are having those other struggles in those other areas, they still have sex, they're going to push their relationship forward that much more, because they have a place of discipline. Yeah, you got to be disciplined to have sex. Don't I know about it? You got to be disciplined, right? So that they can come back together and connect, and it protects the relationship and it keeps your bond strong.
And there's certain subtleties too, that you can implement in your relationship to that could lead to sex, or just enhance intimacy. I mean, I'm not sure whether or not, we get caught up in the hustle and bustle of the day to day, but I mean, doing something as simple as asking your husband to help you put on your bra.
Help you put on your bra?
Yeah.
Now, before sex?
No, I'm not saying before sex.
Oh.
I'm just saying, this is an act of foreplay.
Okay.
And so we all know that you know how to do it, but again, it's an act of intimacy where you're asking him to help you do something. To ask your partner to bathe and clean certain parts of your body. That right there too is an act of foreplay, because again, it's suggesting that what it is that you want is connection, and you want them to touch you a certain way. And in the back of their mind, it's this idea that it could possibly lead to even more. And so again, just asking these questions, making these flirtatious suggestions are ways that you can, just put out there that you're interested, and that, it's an invitation for them to pursue you sexually. Yes. And also intimately.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're coming up on our last little tip for this evening. If you're just joining us again, we're talking about sex as a sacred practice and as, a protector of your relationship. It seals the bond, and we have to practice it. It's a spiritual practice if you allow it to be. So this last piece is important. There are people, and maybe this is you guys, some of y'all, right, who say, we really don't kiss, right? Like, and everybody's different. Some people are kissers, other people are not kissers, right? And so there's differences and variations in that. And what we tell folks is, that's a personal preference. Like, shouldn't he kiss me more? Well, he should if that's what you desire, but there's no research that says people who kiss more, are better connected, right? It's really a personal preference thing. What I'm about to tell you now, though, does make a difference. And we tell all couples that they need to practice this. When you do not look at each other, and you have a habit of not looking at one another in the eyes, whether it be during sex or anywhere, for that matter, right? But we're talking about sex for the purposes of this conversation. That is a disconnect, and that is a learned behavior. Have you ever noticed that, perhaps maybe about yourself or someone else, that people, when they're talking to you, that you look them in the eye and they kind of look away? Right? Or maybe you're that person, you can only hold it for so long and then you kind of look down, right? And so when you are in the act of sex, it's really important to make eye contact, prolonged eye contact in the midst of sex, whether you're providing oral sex, whether, there's penetration happening. You need to do that because you can miss each other in the midst of the act. And when you do that, and you got that candles lit and you got that music going, right? And you set it up right, my. You can really, really connect in a way that you had not anticipated. So make sure that you lock eyes. Eye contact is important. And ask yourself, dang, you know what? Do I do that? I don't, some of you might not even know. So, evaluate your relationship and your sex life and find ways to tune it up. Last but not least, don't be overwhelmed. Don't be trying to do everything. Don't let your partner come home this weekend. You got the red light on, you know what I'm saying? Got the lube out, order something from the shop around the corner, you know what I'm saying? You're just doing it all, right? And you just don't overwhelm yourself and don't overwhelm your partner. Focus on one thing that you can do differently. And once you do that one thing differently, then you'll know what to do next and what to do next and what to do next. And oftentimes it's just simply having a conversation and speaking differently about what you want, right? Because that will right there be like, oh, like if that's not what your partner's used to, they'll be like, oh, okay, right. That's curious. What's that about? And they may be awkward and be like, what's that about? Either way, somebody has to make a move, and whoever has the most insight needs to use it. You're obligated to use it if you have the most insight.
And also recognize too that you're not going to always get what you want. And so the question that I have, and if you all have questions, please drop them and we'll answer them before we get off. But the question that I have is, what if your partner wants something from you or wants you to do something, but you don't want to do it? Like, how do you broach that particular issue? Like, for instance, some women ain't down for anal sex, and
you're asking the people here.
I'm asking you. And so the man, may be wanting that. And how do you address that issue if your husband is wanting anal sex, but yet you're unwilling to do it? And it's not just that, it's a number of things that they can
so the bottom line is that, what I always think about is, if I'm saying, I don't know about that, or I don't want to do that, or I'm not interested, am I being self-centered? Am I focusing on, what just I want? Is it going to really take me to a level of vulnerability and crisis that I'm going is it me being self-centered, or is it, me really saying this is a boundary for me, and I'm really, it makes me very uncomfortable and I really can't go there. You know what I'm saying? So you need to ask yourself that. And once you have that answer for yourself, then do what you need to do. Protect your boundaries, because all healthy relationships have good boundaries, right? Or say, you know what, I might be open to looking at that a little bit more. Maybe we can just start with Googling about it. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to come at me like that, right? In the bedroom. Let's first, don't do that. Let's go and Google and do some research, right? But you have to really ask yourself where you are on it, and then your partner needs to respect that.
And I saw something over here that somebody said, can a man lose his stamina and drive when not having sex on a regular basis? Yeah, the answer is yes. Especially as you age, if you don't keep it oiled, keep it greased, and keep it ripe and ready.
What are you talking about?
What I'm saying is that his thing. If he does not keep it ready, if he doesn't keep it ready,
really. You say greased and
oiled and ready to perform. Then what happens is that what you don't use, you lose. And so, not to say that it's always a situation like that, but again, it's important that if you want to maintain a healthy and active sex life, that you engage with your partner on a regular basis. But in addition to that, if you can't engage with your partner, I would say engage with yourself. You know, it's nothing like understanding your body better so that you can better perform for your partner.
That's it. There you go. There you go. Guys, I hope that this has been helpful to you. Y'all have been showing up for this sex series. If there's some additional focus that you all want us to do when it comes to sex, I want you to let us know. Drop it in the comments or send us a message, inbox us here on Facebook or YouTube. You can inbox us, or you can always email us at info at the letter B, intentional, info at the letter B, intentional.com. Because we want to know whether it's around sex or whether it's around something else. It doesn't matter. We want to talk to y'all. All right, guys. I think that this has been successful.
Yeah.
I think that y'all are about it. Now make sure that you really get it going. Get it on. Do something differently. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to actually take what it is that we've all talked about and apply it. And if you ain't doing that, then you ain't nothing but a talker, right? You're nothing but a talker. So
somebody asked about doing a marriage, something. I couldn't see the full comment. How can they get us to come? Again, you can email us. Email us at info at the letter B, intentional.com. You can also, email us there, inbox us here on Facebook.
Better to email.
We do come and do these things. Is there a link between sex and financial independence? I would need more to be able to answer that question as fully as possible over here on YouTube. So we've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. We got some things we need to do.
I bet you.
We got some business we need to take care of.
All right, guys. As always, none of this will matter if you don't do something different. So stop playing, start pushing, and have some good sex. Bye.
Peace, y'all. And men do like kinky sex.
Okay.
All right, peace.